President Donald Trump is once again making headlines, this time after revealing that Russian President Vladimir Putin agrees with him that mail-in voting should not be allowed in the United States. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. In an interview with Fox News, following what he described as a nearly 3-hour meeting with Putin in Alaska, President Trump said the Russian leader told him that no modern democracy can guarantee a fair election through mass mail-in ballots. According to Trump, Putin said it is impossible to preserve true electoral integrity if ballots are simply sent through the mail. Trump quoted Putin as saying there isn't a single serious country in the world today that relies entirely on mail-in voting. That message reinforces Trump's long-standing warning that America's election system is vulnerable, and that mail-in ballots in particular open the door to fraud, manipulation, and chaos. For President Trump, this has been a consistent message since 2020. After what many conservatives continue to view as a deeply flawed election against Democrat Joe Biden, Trump raised concerns about widespread irregularities, especially with the surge of mail-in ballots during the COVID-19 pandemic. While the political establishment and mainstream media dismissed those claims, millions of Americans remain convinced that the system was abused. Ironically, Trump has himself voted by mail in some past elections, but he has always made a clear distinction between limited absentee ballots for those who truly need them and the mass mail-in voting pushed by Democrats. He has encouraged his supporters to vote by any legal method available in 2024, but continues to stress that the system must be fixed to ensure trust and fairness. While Western governments and opposition voices often criticize Russia's elections, Putin remains a central figure in global politics, and his perspective on election security highlights the concerns Trump has raised for years. The Russian embassy in Washington did not immediately respond to Trump's remarks. But this is not the first time Putin has suggested that U.S. elections have faced irregularities. His comments mirror Trump's point: without strict safeguards, the credibility of elections is at risk. It is also worth remembering that allegations of Russian interference in past elections have been used for years to attack Trump and his movement, despite no evidence that his campaign ever colluded with Moscow. Trump has consistently rejected those accusations as politically motivated smears, reminding Americans that the intelligence community never proved otherwise. In Alaska, he repeated that message once more. Although the Constitution sets limits on presidential terms, Trump has not ruled out continuing his fight for the country well beyond his current mandate, fueling speculation about how far his movement could go. In his Fox interview, he expressed frustration with Republicans in Congress, accusing them of not prioritizing election reforms strongly enough. The Republicans want it, but not badly enough, Trump said. You can't have a strong democracy with mail-in voting. Many Republicans agree, pushing for stronger voter ID laws, tighter restrictions on absentee ballots, and limits on ballot drop boxes. They argue that these reforms are essential to prevent fraud, impersonation, and ballot harvesting, problems Democrats insist don't exist, despite countless reported cases that worry ordinary voters. Meanwhile, it should be noted that mail-in voting is not as widespread globally as some suggest. According to the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, based in Sweden, only about 36 countries allow some form of postal voting, and most of them impose strict limits on who qualifies. Unlike what Democrats are promoting in the U.S., other nations use a far more secure system with far fewer risks of abuse. Trump's firm stance marks a shift from the old way Washington handled global politics. For decades, the U.S. establishment claimed to promote democracy overseas, often interfering in or criticizing elections in other countries. Under Trump, the focus has been on fixing America's own system first, securing elections at home before lecturing others abroad. In the end, Trump's remarks underscore his determination to restore trust in America's elections and defend democracy from practices that weaken it. For his critics, it is yet another example of his willingness to challenge the status quo. But for his supporters, it is proof that he continues to fight for the integrity of the U.S. system and for the future of the country. One thing is certain: the debate over mail-in voting is far from over. With 2024 underway, it is set to remain one of the most decisive and heated battles in American politics, a test of whether the United States will choose secure elections or continue down a path of doubt and division.